see people sometimes that don't get well. There aren't very many. I mean, most bodies can heal. But we had an amazing woman here. Was that last session, I think, Ava? Session before. I think it was the session before last, back in May. If you remember that last session, we broke up into 2 parts. We did a 4-week and then a 6-week. I think they were here for the first part of it, but I may be wrong. No? Okay. In any case, this is a client who'd fasted with me before and had developed cancer since the last fast, had tumors in her breast and her brain. And they told her that there was nothing they could do. And so she contacted me and said, "What do you think? Can this help?" And I said, I don't know. Can't hurt. She felt better, and she enjoyed the experience with her mother. They fasted together, but she went home and died shortly afterward. You've got tumors metastasizing in your brain. There are very few people that are going to survive that.
People are gone.
Say again?
Most people wait too late.
Most people wait too late. I mean, unfortunately, the internal organ cancers are usually the last ones found, and they're very serious, and it's difficult to heal. Whereas breast tumors are much easier, for instance. You see a lot of that. But yeah, we've had those people over the years. We had a guy here a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago, who had developed a lung infection living in Dubai. They built all these modern buildings and didn't really know what they were doing with the HVAC systems. They wound up with all these sick buildings. And he wound up developing an infection, was untreated for 12 years. It killed him, eventually. Not here, but again, he wound up, they actually wound up staying here for months because they wanted to stay in Costa Rica, and they wanted a place where they were going to have good food and good internet, and they weren't going to have to go find it. So he was like 72, I think, and she was late 50s. So they asked me if they could stay here, and they stayed. They were amazing. They stayed in this room while we were closed. The staff took care of them. They were here for maybe 3 or 4 months, and I could see that he wasn't getting any better. And I mean, he refused to see a doctor initially, but I encouraged him to go see a doctor, and discovered that he had a lung infection, which he never healed from, never recovered from. So there are those cases. They're relatively small percentage of the time. Fortunately, our bodies are amazing, and most of the time they can heal significantly, if not completely, if they have the opportunity and conditions they need. But not always. Sometimes it's a little too late, or maybe a lot too late.
What's been your experience of heart issues?
Most heart issues do pretty well, although again, it depends. I have another client who, the young man who fasted with me for 18 and a half weeks, had 2 things going on. He had stage 4 testicular cancer, and after 18 and a half weeks, 4.5 months fasting, there was no trace of cancer. But he'd also been 100, 150 pounds overweight for half his life. I mean, when I met him, he was 29, and he'd been that big since he was like 13 or 14. And so he had congestive heart failure. His heart was incapable of keeping up with the job of moving all that mass around. And he completed this long fast, felt amazing, hadn't felt that good in years, but he died, I think, within 6 months because it was too late for his heart to heal. But in many cases we do see, I mean, I mentioned we have 100% success with hypertension. We see a lot of conditions that can heal, but sometimes it's going to be too late. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're interested in more information about fasting in general, we've got a playlist there. If you're interested in fasting for specific conditions, you can check out that list. If you want to hear what people experienced was in their own words, we've got a group there, and then we've got another one which is all about optimal diet and how to maximize your health.